Okay, welcome back, guys. So, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. I really encourage me to keep dropping cool content like this in the future. And even if you do not want to subscribe, you can always like and comment on this just to get the algorithm to push this to those who actually need this tutorial. So, right, so let's carry on with this. So, I kind of brought out another reference for head scan so that I can kind of get things working properly in here. Okay. She has a very interesting nose to her. So I'm going to take a bit more time to kind of work on the nose some more. So notice that here there's a bit more broader here. But you want to be careful though. You don't want to go extreme on that. Okay, I think I overdid that. I think just in the center part should be fine, like so. So gentle subtle touches on this. You don't want to go extreme. Okay, smooth this out a little. Right. So since this is an African face, so we know that. Let's see if I can find a reference for that. Um. They'll still have a lot of some structures in here though, but we need to get that African looking shape of nose in there first. So let's use this silhouette view. I feel like with the move to, let me raise this up slightly, like so. Like so should be fine. Okay. So let me see if I can just get something in here. Let's say we draw straight lines around this side rest. My drawing is my lines are not that straight. Can we draw lines in here? Oh yes, good. Okay, now it's just an arrow. Okay. Okay, something like this. I'm trying to figure out how far out I should push this back in. I'm gonna use the shift to kind of tilt this somewhat around here, somewhat similar to the reference, like so. Okay, so what you need to do was to hold Alt and move around. Then the mouse cursor still on the trackpad. You just hit Shift, then you can move this. Can kind of rotate this on. I think should I call it the Y axis? Okay, so okay, so make sure I'm on the move tool. So you can see some gap in here. Some gaps in here. Kind of close to where this eyelid is. So let me get a closer view in here. reduce the brush size. So we're looking to push this back a bit more. Then we'll compensate for it around here. Let me undo that. Maybe bring this out just a little. Okay. You can see now that a high ball is kind of pushing a eyelid forward a bit more. So let's see if we can capture that a bit like so. Let's see what else can we adjust in there. This is push this back a little like so. Okay. Oh, just hold down shift and then release shift, then you can just tilt this properly without even needing to click on the alt. So I'm kind of get that. I want to kind of get similar direction again for it. Just kind of figure out if things are working correctly. Okay. This one I need to leave this up around here like so. If you still have that curvature on top of it like this, let me see, you can use this. We still want to have a bump around here, then this goes down, something like this, so that should be fine. Okay. Just trying to figure out the size of this nose. Get this on this angle. Let me push this down. Okay. Let me erase that. Look for the nose again. Oh, I think this looks good enough for the nose, except let's see, let me save this first. I know certainly that, let me see if I can find this in here. Nose. Let's look for something else. Looking for a particular reference, if I can find a full-on profile view. Here, something like this. Usually or typically this, let me just draw this around here. This part of the nose comes out a bit more. Let me see if I can do that again. This part of the nose comes out more. Like here, then the other edge of the nose is somewhere around here. So let's try and do that. Okay, it's already coming out. At least it's coming out already. Yeah, it's down already. So I'm just going to tilt this backward a bit, like so, just a little bit. All right. Now for the eye that we pulled out, push the eyes out a bit more. So let's get the eyeball in the right place. Let's get the eyeball in the right place. So outer eye. Let's see if we're getting this right. Okay. Let's see what we have here. This kind of back. Okay, let's not overdo it because there's some shadowing in there that we need to replicate. Okay. Just need to check this properly and make sure everything is working correctly. Okay. Push it out a bit more. I think the edge of the eye, we need to fix that. Get this on the side. Let's get this like so. Yeah, something like this to compensate for it. Let's look at this from this angle also. So you kind of want to turn this all around and then try to see if things are working correctly as they should. Okay. Get this in a bit like so. Let's see this. Okay. Still a lot of things we need to fix though, but we're getting something. Kind of visualize this again. Okay. So now I think I can go in a bit more detail for some of the structure of the nose. You can see some structures of the nose in here. You can see there's a fat part around here. You can see a fat drawing. My drawing really sucks. You can see a fat part around here. So we've already blocked out something in there. This is what we have around here. Okay, we have that already in there. Okay. This one gives us a good setup for where this is. But what this our cheeks are kind of too thick. I'm kind of moving in between shapes just to figure out what works. You can see some more depth around here. So I'm just going to use the move brush. See some depth around here. So let's get this in. All right. Okay. All right. So just subtle changes that makes a very significant difference in there. feel there's so much depth, sense too much depth in here. So let me see if I can smooth that down. Then standard. Okay. Let's see if we can tighten it. Let's use the pinch brush. Okay, there's a difference there, so let's just get that back. Okay. Let's figure out the jaw. Okay, no, let's first start with getting something front on. You can see some flatter shape around here. I mean, this gel line we're having here, I need to flatten it a bit more. So I'm going to use the move brush. So let's get it from this angle. I think it's a good angle. Something is in here. I'm not entirely sure what this is. There's a dent there. Let's confirm. Okay. So this is like basically the structure in there. So I'm going to use that kind of block this in properly. Let me start with the damn standard brush. Get a shape. No, that's weird. Smooth that down. I'm just gonna get some measure of jaw in there. I think this gives us an idea. So basically you need to just pinch, use the move brush, just pinch a region there just to get okay, got something there now. So just need to make sure this is looking good on this side. No, I don't want to mistakenly move something I don't need to move. So let me just mark this out, blur it out. Okay. Let's figure out the front of the face. Blur this out some more. Right. Blend this, smooth this down a bit more. This place looks too slim, so I need to fill this up a little bit, like so, and smooth that down. But we want to be careful because we don't want to smooth out more of the landmarks we have in here. She has a bit eye cheek in here. Let's see. Smooth this a little bit. Okay. So we have a very good angle in here. We have a very good angle in here. So this will kind of give us an idea how this shape should be around here. So we can use that as a guide. So a guide kind of get this in properly. Let's see if we can get something similar. So let me move this. So I know certainly that I need to lift this part out a bit, a tiny bit, like so. Okay. Let's do this from this angle instead. Let's smooth this down. Lift this part out a bit. Not too much though. But we still want to get a smooth transition around this. Let me smooth this down. Right, so I think let me get another angle on this. I'm trying to figure out the length around here. I'm trying to figure out how far should I draw. Basically trying to figure out this part now. Subtle changes I'm making in there. Subtle changes. Okay. So you need to create a landmark around on the forehead. But subtle, there's going to be subtle around here. Something quite subtle. Okay. No. Smooth that out like so. So it's going to be quite subtle. But it's a female face. You don't want to go too extreme. You want to be a bit gentle in there. Okay. Let me see how much depth we have in here. Okay, you can see the silhouette is a bit deeper around here. Like it's a bit, you can see some depth around here. So the depth is somewhere around here. We have depth around there. So and that depth is coming from, let's use this as an example. So the depth is this structure we have around here. Depth is around here. So I don't think we necessarily have that on our sculpt. Wait a minute, is my camera set? Yeah, it sets. Awesome set. Okay, so let's get that dent in there. But I'm trying to figure out how deep ours is. Okay, not too deep. Not too deep. So I'm gonna use the move brush to just gently put a dent around there. I think I went extreme in there, so let's undo that. So smooth that down. Somewhat like that should be fine. Let me see your forehead. If I can. Okay, forehead pushes back. Forehead pushes back. So let's get something in similar direction. So let's get that forehead flatten down like so. Right, something somewhat like so should be fine. Let's do a quick save. All right. What else can we do in here? Yeah, let's block out one structure on the nose. I need to get in. So around here, like so, something like that. That kind of help to give the nose a bit more edge to it. This on the side. But we'll break cement later on that. But for now, let us leave it like that. So another interesting part on this face I need to get right is this region. She has smaller lips, smaller lid, or a bit like what do I would describe this? Okay, smaller but smaller in length, but fuller in width. Oh God, now I'm confused. Basically, what I'm trying to say is this: the length is not too is not too long, but it feels, or rather, it has full. She has fuller lip. She has a fuller lip to her. So basically, something like this. So that's what I'm trying to illustrate. So we need to reduce the length. So let's figure out. This is the eye that's kind of facing. Okay, I believe I should be cutting it around. I should be cutting it where. Let me see. I should be cutting the lips around somewhere here, like so. So let's just use the move brush to kind of get that in. So I'm going to do this from this side. Yeah, one very important thing I need to do is to go to the move brush, hold down control, drag this out. Give this a, oh, I need a bit more. Let me go to higher subdivision level for this. And do this again. Drag control and drag this up. Shift F. Yes, perfect. So now I have the lower part of the lip on a separate poly group. Something like this should be fine. But before let me just go to the lower subdivision level for this. Yeah, we need to do something in here. Before that, let us get the size of the lip in place. So I'll come to the side view with my move brush. Get this. No. Okay. Okay. Get this on the side. Let's try from a distance. Let's see. Think it needs to be a bit smaller. Let's. No. Grabbing what I don't need. So let me see if I can max this part out. This part out. This part out. Blow the marks. Do this from a better angle. Okay. Yeah, yeah, something like this should be fine. The quick save. Uh, right, so I need to close the lip, so I'm just going to go in here, control click on this poly group. That will kind of isolate or rather max the poly group. So let's blur this out. So I'm gonna close the mouth. So I'm just going to blur this out, leave this up, invert the selection, push this down. Alright, just to close the lips. So now we need to lift the lips. We need to lift the lips up a bit more. But let's get something in here first. So let's need to do that on the higher subdivision level. And I'll use the standard brush instead, holding Alt, digging here. Okay. I feel like go to lower subdivision level. Feel like I need to fill up this part a bit more. Smooth that down. Okay. And I would lift this, no, move brush, lift this up. So I need to be a bit delicate with this. So she has a fuller lips. Okay. So I need to compensate for it around here. Smooth. Made this wider. Smooth this down. I'm going to try as much as possible. Notice it doesn't look awkward. So checking this from various angles, kind of make sure we compensate for it. Smooth this down. Alright, invert this. Use a smaller brush size. Think we need something smaller. Now the other thing there is that we need, now get fuller lips, we need to kind of define the edge of the lips a bit more. But in this space is freaking me out, so let's fix that. Let's fix this. So let's get this nasolabial fold in there. So I'm going to use them standard brush. So them standard brush, carve something like so. Ours is not, doesn't go down way too much, so you need to be careful in there. But something feels uneven. This part feels uneven. Let me figure out. Let me use the move brush. I need to do that again. Okay. I think I can just use the move brush and just gently lift this part out a bit more, so we get a better transition around there, around this part. Okay, smooth this down. This part feels uneven, so let's see if we can use, no, I think we need to use the clay brush, fill this part up, smooth, compensate for it here, smooth, gentle smooth. Okay, let's block out another landmark around here. So basically trying to block out this landmark now. Okay, you can see it breaks up around here, so let's break this up with them standard brush around here first, around here. We'll let us smooth that down later on, but let's just get the shape in there first, gently blocking this out. Okay, it's important to have them in there. It's important to have them in. That kind of help us break the surface and give you a more realistic look instead of a stylized looking character. So these blockouts are very important. They're very, very important. So if we go on subdivision level higher, we'll be able to see them in there. So then now we need to kind of smooth them down so it doesn't feel too sharp in there. Okay. But we don't want to completely smooth them out because we still want to see them in there. I think we can create that shape of the lips in here now. There's something, no, doesn't look right. Think like so. Think like so. Yes, something like this. Let me do a quick save. Okay, I think we're getting something in there. What is this? Some weird shape around here. Fill that up. Smooth that down. Okay. Yeah, I think this will work. We just need to keep refining this until we get something good enough. I think I'll use the inflate brush. I think inflation is too intense. Take this down. Inflate these parts. Okay. Let me use this angle, kind of do a better job in there. Right. Okay, stop here for now. So in next tutorial I'll continue and then keep making some more refinements to this, get something good enough out of this. So this edge feels too sharp. Feels too sharp. Okay, let's smooth that down. Build something on here. No sentence. Okay. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next lesson. Bye for now.